Hello, thank you for tuning in. Oh, let me hold on. Let me cut my headphones down so I can hear feedback. You know how it is nowadays with the technician and everything else. Okay, thank you. Oh, here we go. Give me a second. All right. Okay, thank you for tuning in. My name is Larry Duncan Allen, and this is No More Water. Fire. Next time. I have an interesting title. I would rather topic tonight. It says, "Were black kids being raised up or bullied up?" Lately there's been a lot of stories about black parents. Well, they just say tell it like it is. Black mothers being arrested in public places for beating their children. In Walmart and other stores. And most of the comments I hear about in what I hear people saying about is they approve of the mother beating those children because black people have always been very big on corporal punishment. But let's look at how it has worked out for us. Statistics have shown that children who are whipped when they're younger grow up more violent. They feel that they have to punish people physically who wrongs them. And let's really look at this, see, because people really made a thing about this that the mothers were correct, and I don't. I'm going to be honest with you. I haven't seen any fathers arrested for beating their children in public. I have personally witnessed in stores women just yelling at the kid, just talking to him any kind of way. The kid hasn't done a thing but just standing there. The average black mother, when you see her with the child in the store, I don't know if they're a child or not, so an average black woman, she's talking mean, either yelling at the child or talking mean to them some type of way. We haven't seen the men doing that. I just have to say it like it is. And there have been quite a few arrests. I remember my aunt telling me about how when she was at a doctor's office, and there was this woman beating her child in the doctor's office. They locked the doors and called it the police because they're obligated to. People like doctors, teachers, child care people, they're obligated to call the police when they see a child being abused. But let's look at spankings. I didn't get spankings. My brothers and sisters didn't get them. Most of the most of the people I know in my family really didn't whip their children. My nieces, nephews, I don't know where I haven't seen where they really would beat on their children. And all of them turned out fine. Now, see, beatings also make the children more emotional. That's why you got all these emotional men now. But the women complain about them, but they're the ones who making them that way. I didn't get whippings. My brothers and sisters didn't, and I look at myself and most of my relatives. We didn't get whippings, and we haven't been to prison. We're all productive members of society. We don't stay in trouble, fights, and all of that. There's always be a couple, but when I look at the I gotta have a lot. It's a lot of us. We're never in trouble, any trouble. So we must be doing something right. We didn't get beat. We didn't get spanked. I'm going to be honest with you. This is the honest truth. I've dealt with a lot of children in my life. I've never spanked a child in my life. And they didn't run over me. You know why? I talked to them. And the ones who just wouldn't do right, I left them alone. Now, I couldn't do it with my own, but they did right. But, because look, when you have to beat a child in the store, You just didn't teach them at home because they should already know how to behave when they come to the store. And I'm not talking about the little infants I see people hitting on. They haven't learned yet. You can't train an infant by beating them. They don't even know what you're beating them for. I've seen people with kids at the store. The kid, little bitty infant, you have to really look out for them in stores because they're gonna reach for stuff. Got the little kids standing there next to the candy rack. They reach for some candy. Hit them on the hand. Now do it again. They reach for it again. Hit them on the hand. Now do it again. And that's a little child. Now when you say do it again, they think you're saying do it again. You hear that feedback from my headset? I better turn it on down till I get ready to play a video. So it's just bad parenting throughout our community. We act like as though spankings and we don't give spankings. A lot of them give beatings. It's the only form of discipline. I'm not saying no child should ever have to need a spanking. Some may need them. But I'm talking about unnecessary spankings, which is what most black kids get. Let me show you. I like to play these videos. Let me show you a video here right quick. See if this is the right one. And that's for the left here. I'm gonna be able to hear when I play them. Don't come through. Okay, give me a second here. Okay. Now, which video is that on?
So everybody is talking about the woman who got assaulted by this man.
That's the wrong one. That's the wrong one. I wanted to play that one last. Here we go.
So I have a quick story time. One year I was invited to this family's Christmas party, and in the living room, it was just a living room full of women and kids playing with toys. I don't know what the hell a men was, but it was just women and kids. Well, they had this beautiful 2-year-old baby. She started crying behind another kid's toy. Her mama took her in the bedroom and beat her so bad, you could hear her all the way in the living room. When the mama came back to the living room, the other women was nodding her head as if she did something so great. I think I was the only one disgusted. But sometimes women send messages by beating the hell out of their kids because they really want to beat your ass. It's almost as if, did you not see what I did my own child? My flesh and blood that came from me? Did you not see how I whipped my kid's ass? Now imagine how I whip your ass and I don't even like you. That's exactly the message I got. I need you to hear my kids scream. Because bitch, you next. One wrong move and you gonna be screaming next. That's exactly the message I got. They wanted to pounce on my ass so bad from day one. They wanted to fight. Just walking in your feminine energy, being in the same presence as masculine women, being in the same presence as women that's already angry with life. They need something to pounce on. And they really want to pounce on you because you everything they wish to be. But I can't touch you right now because you ain't said nothing. You ain't did nothing. So for the time being, I'm going to whip my kid's ass. It's a damn shame.
How can one woman be so ridiculous? First, she started off by, they always got to have say something about the man. What the hell was the man? Now, we're supposed to be every little place you want us to be when you're ready for us to be there. So she had to throw something at the men. That foolishness she talked. That woman was just a bad mother. That's all she was. It ain't got nothing to do with who else she want to be. See, when it comes to women, people go way over in left field looking for excuses. All that had to do with a woman who don't know how to raise children and was beating on her child. And you notice whenever a man hitting a woman or two women are fighting, people say, why come somebody didn't stop it? Why come you won't stop someone from beating a child like that? Why come none of the women stopped it? Like you are always saying that. Two misbehaving women can. You think a man's supposed to jump in every time a woman misbehave and fight? A man's supposed to jump in it, but you can't stop a woman from beating on a child. You're gonna come up with this crazy logic of yours. Why ain't she really want me? She want you. She would have got you. See, it's strange how there's always excuses for women, no matter what you do. The problem with that woman, she's just a bad mother, and someone should have stopped her from beating that child like that, or call the police. Cause I'll call the police. If I see someone beating their child like really bad, I'll call the police. I'll snitch. You're right, I sure will. But see, women get away with a lot of this stuff. A lot of times, it's to the place now, they hardly ever talk about man beating children anymore. They used to think it was the man. A lot of time, it wasn't the father beating those children, it was the woman, the mother. But many times he got in jail for it, or got in trouble for it. Now it's all coming out. I've been around men and women with children. The men talk to those children, teach those children. The woman yell at them. Now don't come here and tell me, well, I know this man, ain't always gonna be some. But the majority of men take time out and talk to those children, because one thing you never hear black women talk about, they like to talk about the bad fathers who are not. It's just that in their minds, he is. Because they're mad at him, he's a bad father. One thing that the CDC, Center for Disease Control, these are not black men statistics. These are white folks statistics, so maybe you believe it. Look, the CDC says that black fathers are the most engaging and nourishing and best father there is in the United States. And when you start thinking about that little Pookie you had a baby by, and a lot of time he's not as bad as you make him out to be. See, anytime even the fathers don't live with their child, engage with their child more. And also mentioned that he doesn't always have to live with the child. The black fathers change the children, help them with their homework, just more engaging with them. Now, have you seen a black man with children in the store? How he interact with those children? You don't hear a bunch of yelling and cursing and you better come on and all of that. You don't hear all of that when the children is with the man. I know you women get mad because you get angry anytime somebody not praising you. But I don't care nothing about you getting, instead of getting angry, listen and learn. Because you're doing the same stuff over and over again. So it's got to be something wrong somewhere that you're doing. You can't be all right and the men are all wrong. You see, even in that woman's comment, she had to throw something at men. That's the first thing she did. Why the hell was the men at? They was where they want to be. You wasn't in there with them. Why did they have to be in there with you? They probably didn't want to hear y'all cackling. That's probably why they wasn't in there. Because that's what I usually do. They didn't want to hear that stuff y'all was talking. That's usually the case. And I'm not going to speculate. I'm going to say what I know. That's usually the case. They don't want to hear all that talking y'all. All you're going to do is say something to try to put them down. Like you usually do. I got another video here. I said some got to change because we got a violent society. Everybody ready to fight at the drop of a hat. And the way they was raised is the way is what's doing it. They just face it. You're beating these kids and making them violent. I got the right one. So I want to play this other video. And I don't care about anybody getting mad. And that's for the left here. I don't care about anybody getting angry. We're trying to discuss a matter here. Where's that other one that Can you imagine those hyenas actually thought that was funny? But did she tell them anything? Just beat them. That's it. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't care if that was my mother, whoever. If I was that big, my mother couldn't have whipped me like that. I'd have restrained her. Now you're not gonna be hitting on me. A boy that big, if he didn't got that age, he has no business have to have whippings. He should have been taught by now what he should and shouldn't do. When you see people gotta beat these big old kids like that, they just a failed parent. Sit. That's all they are, a failed parent. Because they should have been taught that child by now what they can. If he did something, he would just about know what he should or shouldn't. He or she should just about know what they should or shouldn't do. And if they do, but they don't know everything. If they do something, they shouldn't tell them. You got a lot of black parents beat a kid the first time they do something wrong, and they don't even know what they don't even know is wrong. And a lot of times these parents are not beating kids because they did something wrong. They just did something they don't like. And you all know I'm telling the truth. I was at a store, this is about a couple of weeks ago. And this little boy, he went outside the door. And the mother told him, come back inside. He came back inside and he said, Mama, why you wanted me to come back inside? Because I said so. Let me turn that feedback down. These mics. Why come she can explain to him, well, it's too dangerous for you to be out there by yourself. I don't want you out there by yourself. Explain that to him so next time he'll know. He would know. And if he was with any other adult, he would know. And it wouldn't be just because if you said because I said so, that means whatever misbehavior they're doing, they'll do it with you not around. But if you teach them why they shouldn't do that, they'll do it when you're around, won't do it when you're around and when you're not. And when they're around other adults, they'll know how to behave with them also. Because you're not the only adult your child is going to be around. You know what? Some of these other mothers, non-black mothers, they would explain to their child why not. But the black mother, because I said so. Because I'm your mother, you just do what I say without question. They're not questioning your authority, they're trying to learn. But you take it as though they're questioning your authority. I have a few more videos I want to play. Let me get this headset. I want feedback from my. See if this is the right one. Yeah, this is the right one. I have to put these on to hear the video. And did you see them hyenas laughing about that? Bet he won't do it again. When she's not around, whatever it is, you just beat him. He'll do it when you're not around. And that's why these kids are growing up so violent. They grow up violent because when you beat a kid, when you beat on them like that, it makes them emotional. It damages them emotionally. That's why you have all these emotional men that you're creating and complain about. When you just beat these kids all the time and don't teach them, just bullying them, they grow up to be that way. Have you ever noticed the average black person? I'm talking about kids and adults. They're ready to fight over almost anything. Anytime you do something they don't like, you don't have to be you doing something wrong. They're ready to fuss and fight and argue and seem to enjoy it. And don't know how to stop arguing because they're used to their mother doing it, never knowing how to stop arguing. Sometimes the man have to leave the house for her to calm down. He come back and she started all over again. Because I've had that happen to me. But I wasn't around that one for long. But and see that's then when they go to school, you tell them. If when another adult, you say they're not your mom or daddy. When someone else try to tell them something, so that's why they go to school. Think the teacher, no other adult's supposed to tell them anything. Because when I used to take kids on field trips and all, I didn't argue. I ain't not arguing with no kid. They get smart. I turn around the van around and take them home. Your kid can't come no more. When I was in school, most of the kids' father was in the home. At that time, there was few kids' fathers who weren't. And you could tell the kids who fathers who weren't. Because they're the one who kept up all the trouble in class. You women can say what you want to, but men have restored order. And I know what you're sitting here talking about that stupid man you were. Oh, he wasn't this, he wasn't that. Or was it him or was it you? You kept getting in his way when he tried to deal with the children. When he leave, oh, you don't have to listen to him. 'Cause a lot of women do that even with the father. You see a lot of you have a man there, even if it's not the father. But you don't want him saying them to the kid. Oh, you ain't, you know me telling you ain't your son. That's not your daughter. But you got them in the house with him under his authority. That's why I had to tell kids, the Americans say you yelled at him. Say, yeah, I did. And it was needed. You're not his dad. I said, well, he was under my authority. And if you can't take that, then keep him at home. Many people have taught their children they can't listen to anyone but their mother or father. And sometimes they tell them don't listen to their father. Black mothers, the majority of them are terrible mothers. Just face it. I know y'all don't like it, but it's just the truth. The majority are terrible mothers. You've ruined these kids, especially your boys. I saw one video of a mother in the back being the backup dancer, half naked. Her daughter said, "You ask if she be her backup dancer while she's saying she half naked." You got mothers all on TikTok dancing and twerking with their daughters. You don't need custody of those children. The father do. I bet he'd do a better job than that. And this is quite common. I can see if you just saw one or two videos or a few videos, it's quite common to see these mothers on social media dancing and twerking and involved in a bunch of foolishness with their daughters. I'm going to play another video. Turn this volume up. I hit set.
Hey girl,
Hi.
it's your birthday?
Uh-huh.
Why you look weird? Hey birthday.
Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. And so this lady here, Lanija Eason, she's accused of killing her 6-year-old daughter. Her daughter name was Jalea Eason, and basically the cops were called. The most heartbreaking part about this case is the neighbors say that they could hear the little 6-year-old begging for her life at around 4 in the morning, and that's about the same time her mom called the police, and her lie to the police was she woke up to find her daughter unconscious in a closet in her bedroom. The police showed up. They say the house was filthy. It had feces, urine, all types of smells coming from it. There was insects, bugs, all types of stuff living inside the house besides the humans. It's just honestly heartbreaking that, the neighbors, they did hear this little 6-year-old beg her mom to stop beating on her. And the neighbor below said that you can hear the thumps and thuds on the floor, and you can hear the little baby screaming stop at the top of her lungs. Like they were saying she was screaming at the top of her lungs. The mom was questioned at the station, and they did later release her. They only charged her with some child endangerment for the other 2 kids that were also inside the home. One is an older boy and a 3-year-old girl who was also in the home. The boy is, I believe, her son is 10. She did have multiple CPS cases filed against her on the eldest son. in her past. I'm not sure where these kids' fathers are, but the society just failed them. You know, they were let down. Their relatives failed them. They knew that this woman was an abuser. They knew she had a problem. Someone knew. These men that was laying down constantly having babies with her knew she was a problem, and they continued to have babies with her. And she say that she was the only person in the home, so it was only her and the kids there. For anybody trying to defend this woman, there's some sickos online trying to defend her, like, oh, well, wait till the evidence come out, you know, wait for her to be arrested for murder. Okay, when a child is filled up with bruises and they only live with their mother and she's the only other adult in the house, that's the only person that could have done this. And she herself is not saying that someone came in the home and beat this kid to death either. She's not saying that. So just stop it with the BS talking about, you know, it wasn't her. It was her. She did it. The cops know she did it, and they're just waiting for the coroner to release a statement saying that it was a homicide and not, you know, an accidental death of some sort. She did ask for an attorney. I'm not sure what the hell she told them to leave that station, but she was able to make it out of there. They did put her on an ankle monitor pending charges for, you know, once the coroner released the cause of death of the 6-year-old Jalea Eason. Her childhood friend said she is absolutely shocked, surprised that this has unfolded and that her friend did this, her old friend did this.
You notice something? That little girl had a band-aid on her head in that picture. It's awful strange how with two of these hyenas all up in Walmart and everywhere, duking it out with each other. Why come the men didn't stop? Why come nobody stopped it? Two women who agreed to mutual combat, they want people to stop it. But yet when they know someone's beating on a child, many people approve of it. Oh, they need it. But you notice in each one of these videos, one thing that's in common, they always find a way to tear the men down in it, even though they had nothing to do with it. Do you know how many men who know a woman is beating their child tries to get custody of those children and the courts won't let them have them? And what have a woman beating when a man lay down and have a baby with a child? He's supposed to be able to figure out she's a child abuser. She said men, which means she had babies by different men. He's supposed to say that when he hitting that, say, well, I better not have a baby because she look like a child abuser. Come on, y'all. You always after, always. You know one thing I know about women? You can never say a woman is wrong without throwing the man in there too. I used to like watch the videos of Calvin and Samuels when they would admit that a man is wrong. They couldn't never say, they said when a man is wrong. When it was time to say that a woman was wrong, well, they were both wrong. And that's what you're getting in this video. They have to throw the man in there. They can never say a woman is wrong without saying they both wrong. That's what this is saying without saying it. People will watch a woman beat a child to death. Now, for that woman to do that, that wasn't the first time. But it's hard when you call the protective services to get them to do something. The child got almost have their head hanging off their neck almost before they'll do something. Unless it's the father, they'll take the child quick. See, if that was the father, he would have been locked up quick. But people give these women excuses for what they do to these children. That little girl had a band-aid on her head on the picture. People knew what she was doing. And they said that, oh, well, she's just disciplined. That's not discipline, that's beating. There's more forms of discipline than just beating a child. How's a child going to learn from beating and you don't teach him nothing? I never got a whooping. My brothers and sisters. I've never whipped a child in my life and they all turned out fine. My niece's nephews, they turned out fine. Well, no, that would be a few, but you know, but basically, we just never been a beating family. You don't see us all in prison and all of that. It was seven of us, but still is seven of us. None of us ever been to prison, charged with anything serious. We weren't beat, and we respected our parents. A lot of people say your children gonna be beating you up if you don't beat them. Now they just might beat you up if you keep beating them when they get big. That video showed that big old boy, that woman beating him. And my mama, nobody could have beat me like that at his size. Mama would have had to be taught a lesson trying to beat me at that big. I heard parents say, I brought you in this world, I'd take you out. I tell them, no, you won't. Mine never said that, but if they'd had, I'd have to tell them, I'm grown now. No, you won't. See, as your child grows, you can't treat them at 16 the way you did at 8, or at 30 the way you did at 15. There's stages, there's evolution. And by the time, see that big old boy she was beating, he should have been old enough to be talked to if he had been raised right all the time. And now you can tell he was just beaten all the time. If he had been taught all along the way, you wouldn't have to be beating him at that age. The store is not the place to discipline your children because they should be already taught. Now, little children, little small infants, they're going to do things, but infants, you're supposed to have them with you. They're going to reach for things, even when you tell them not to. They're infants, they're little kids. But the older kids, like 4, 5, 6 years old, who has a level of understanding, they should know how to behave because you should have already taught them. And when you tell them about, you know, those old jokes they tell about how they tell you, when you go in that store, you better not. Why you got to fuss at them? You say, when you go inside, don't bother anything in there. That's how you got to tell them. You know, as a reminder. Why you got to fuss and yell at them just to tell them that? That's why you see now the average black adult, the average black person, when it's something you're doing that they don't like, they can't come and talk to you and just tell you. They come to you fussing and turn it into an argument or maybe a fight. Because each time their parents didn't like something that they did, well, I say mother, because that mostly is. When they didn't like something they did, they yelled at them and screamed at them. Had to get angry over everything they didn't like. Not that it was wrong, they just didn't like it. And yelled at them. So now when they grown now, or they teenagers, they can't come to you and just tell you something. They got to yell at you and fuss at you. Well, the other person not going to take it, so they yell and fuss back. Next thing you know, there's a fight. Everything has to be settled physically in our culture. And you know what? It could be a person. They could be living in the hood, or they could be a PhD and do the same thing because they were raised that way. Also, you got people who are well learned. Well, I can't say educated because college is not education. College is training. That's why they say people being the most educated. You're educated K through 12. College is training. But look, they you have people making 6 figures, supposed to be Dr. So and so. They're ready to fight at the drop of a hat also. Because they were beaten when they were brought up. And some all this beat, we gotta start teaching these kids all this beating. Got to stop. Teach them stuff to teach them how to learn about stuff. Have them to learn. You can tell the kids from a 2-parent household they behave better. And you could tell that in school. When I was in school, like I said, most of the kids when I was in school, their father was in the home. Mine was until he passed away. And you could tell the ones who father, the few who fathers weren't, because they caused all the trouble in the classroom. I've been to places where you have the woman and the man together with the child, and the man was the one doing all the discipline of the children, and it was in a nice way. He wasn't yelling and cursing at them and hitting them. Is the woman is either overdoing it or underdoing it. Let the kids come in church with devices, turn it all up, with the volume up. Mother sitting there won't say a word. They're running in and out doing all type of things. Mother won't say a word. But then when they get to in the store, it's turn to curse them out and beat them. And if you say something to them, she's ready to fight. It's like the wild, wild west out here in black land. Let's just face it. We don't have a very good our community has no standards. It has no what is our standard? What is our standards for operation? In your neighborhood. Your neighborhood has any standard? We don't have any standards. Let's stop lying. That's why people do figure they can do whatever they want to and nobody better not say anything. We have no rules of engagement. We haven't set up any ethnicity. We're the only people who have as many people as we have. Yet we haven't set up different ethnic groups among us in all of these years. Anywhere else in the world. You know why those people, many of them are different from each other? They set up ethnic groups. Many ethnic groups went on and became nations. That's why you see even among, like they say, the Sunni Muslims and all, even the Jews have different ethnic groups among them. When people talk about embracing African culture, which one? There's hundreds of African cultures. Everyone is not like us. All we know is race. They know nationality and ethnicity. That's why when they come here, they don't want to be bothered with us. They want to deal with the people of their ethnic groups and nationality. But we set up no type of ethnic groups because your ethnic group it sets up the way you operate, the way you do things. That's what your ethics does. We don't have any ethics. What are our ethics? Black Americans, what are our ethics? Tell the MF off and all that stuff. I wish the MF would. Always ready to fight because you was raised that way. You were bullied up. You weren't raised up, you were bullied up. I have a few more videos I want to play. I got a lot of them. These old crazy folks. Where's my right headset at? There you go. Man, we got a problem. It's the right one. Oh, that's not it. I'm just gonna leave it on and cut the volume down. We got a problem in our community. The way we're raising our children. And then you know what? It's gonna take a few generations to straighten it out. Because the bullying generation is already started with what you see now. It's already started. So I don't see this generation being any better. We're going to have a violent generation for the next couple of generations, maybe. Or 3, or more. It's going to take a while. And listen to this.
No, it's bigger than the school system. It's our community. I'm telling you, as black men.
Private schools control their kids. Public schools should be able to control their kids.
Sister, all I'm saying is, when you see a black man taking responsibility for the bullshit that's happening to our community, y'all gotta learn to stand down. Y'all got to stop this. It's not a war between us. It's not a war. Let that go with that. Hey, what you doing? What you on?
It's the way you came. It's the way you came.
No, it ain't. No, it's not, sister. Yeah, everybody wrong. We dealing with them, but we here. We here. We here. They not here. We here with you. We here. We here. Who you fighting? Okay, then let me finish.
I'm fighting for what's right, my brother. I'm a true love man, and I'm going to tell you. I'm going to fight for what's right. Them slaves watched that lady get jumped on and they didn't do nothing.
Because they know me. I'm done. I'm done. I'm good. Y'all deal with her. Y'all deal with her.
You know what that was about? Those were men. They were trying to take care of the situation where those children in Chicago jumped on that woman, that pregnant woman. And if you notice those women out, they kept yelling, "Oh, where the men and all that." They probably got away from you. Could you imagine being married or living with one of those women? Men don't leave their children, they leave those hyenas. That's who they leave. Look at the woman who talking about the man left. Then most of them didn't leave. You was laid up and had a baby with somebody. They didn't leave. You never were a family. But the thing about it is this. She was saying people watched that woman get jumped on. The children videoed that wasn't nobody around. The thing about it is this. You always talking about people supposed to stop people from jumping on a woman. Why come you never stop people from jumping on a child, beating a child? Talking about they needed it. Well, maybe she needed it. I'm not talking about the woman they jumped. I'm not talking about the woman, the pregnant woman they jumped on. I said, I know she didn't need it. I'm talking about the ones that's out there doing all that fighting. These gorillas you see out there want to duke it out, and you think every man in town is supposed to put his life and health on the line to break them up. I'm not breaking up nothing. Those women are not under my burden. The woman you're with, your wife, or the women of your household is under your burden. These other women out here, they say they don't need a man and all that. Well, you're not under anyone's burden. So you see, women wants to be traditional and feminist and all that, but you want the man to stay traditional. You go out here and get in fights, and he's supposed to come break it up. I'm not breaking up nothing. You just be duking it out till the sun come up. If it's left up to me breaking it up. I know women was fighting. Man come and grab the woman, she talking about he grab her breast and all that. But even they don't have nothing to do with that. I'm just not getting involved. You got yourself in that mess, you get yourself out. You're not under my burden. You say you want to box, you boxing. That's mutual combat. And you raising up these old hoodlums, that's what you raising them up to be. 80% of the men in prison was raised by just a woman only. 80%. And 80% of the children, black children, are born to single parents. See how those numbers go together? And can't nobody tell you. Now you see that man was trying to tell them. You see how they did? That's the way black women behave every time you try to tell them something. They know everything, but yet not accomplishing anything. Oh, black women are most educated, getting these jobs, but the majority of them are not. The majority of them are like them. You're not the most educated. Education is K through 12. College is training. Because you sure don't act like the most educated. So, well, black women are building, open up a lot of business. You're just catching up to everyone else. See, black women can do what other people been doing. And say, oh, look at what we're doing. We've been doing that. Then they'll say, I know this is a different subject, but I'm just showing you that the behavior of black women is causing the problem with these children, not black men. Because the parent that the child live with is responsible. Don't sit around here, raise a child away from the father, then every time something go wrong, it's his fault. And when you look at women like those women there, what man could live with them? In fact, the sight of them was disgusting. So I don't play with this. I know the women. See, a lot of black men be quiet because the women get mad, get the fussing and yelling. You just want to get into it. Well, I don't care nothing about your yelling and fussing. I don't care nothing about it. You little simps need to quit letting these women run you and tell them the truth. They're disgusting. That's why you don't want to be with them. They're disgusting. I love my children, but I just can't be with you. That's usually the case. And you say, and besides, women break up most of the relationships anyway. They break up around between 80 and 90% of the time. The woman break up the relationship because you're poor at relationships. But look, you beat these children, and then when they go out and misbehave, that makes them go out and misbehave. It makes them go out and misbehave. That's why they fight all the time. They were brought up through violence. You didn't raise your children, you bullied them. Beating on them, yelling at them. How's that going to make a healthy mind? Being yelled at and beat all the time. If you do something the parent don't like, you get beat. And not told, well, you shouldn't do this because of this and that. Now I can see, I'm not saying the child never should get any whipping. Some may need it. I didn't say beat. I said a whipping. And that should be the last straw. But you whooping them and they still got their iPhone in their hand. You should have taken that away. You're just not good at being parents. You say, well, white mother raised mass shooters. Let's look at that. When you look at the mass shooters, how many of them is it? And then how many people may be unalive through mass shootings in a year? Maybe 300? You got that many bodies in just one of these major cities. So let's stop all that. Well, look at this. Look at yourself. Quit thinking because you can throw something back at somebody, that means everything you're doing is okay. Well, you can't say that because you're this, you're that. But how does that happen in your situation? Because I've seen it, but you notice in each one of these videos, the women had to throw something back at the men. Because you can never say a woman is wrong without bringing a man with her. Well, they were both wrong because you don't want to say the woman was wrong. Right? But you'll say he was wrong. You'll say that quick. I've seen men with these children, and they do a good job with them. Black men do a good job with their children. You women know it. If you'll leave him alone, quit interfering, talking the child against him because you're angry with him, because your relationship didn't work out. You call him a deadbeat. It's easy to call someone deadbeat when they don't live with their children. You're deadbeat and you're there in the house with them every day raising them incorrectly. That makes you a deadbeat. Look, the if a man is not in the house, you say he's a deadbeat because you know that same man you call a deadbeat, he'll go get with another woman, help raise her children, and the children he have by him, maybe even get married. Why come he couldn't do that with you if he's a deadbeat? Oh, I'm keep going through the same thing with different men. Don't that tell you it might be you? If you're going through, you know, I've been around men who said that. Man, I'm just keep going through the same BS with different women. And you know what that man would stop and say? I gotta figure out what I'm doing wrong. A lot of you men know you have heard men say that. I gotta be doing something wrong. I gotta figure out what I'm doing wrong. But the woman would say, I'm just keep going through the same thing with different men. Well, all these old men just ain't no good. You're the one person in the whole equation. How's everybody else? All these different multiple people are no good. But you are. Oh, I'm choosing wrong. I'm keep choosing wrong. Don't they tell you you may be the wrong person? You know how ridiculous that's? I'm just keep choosing wrong. Like the man is always the wrong person. No, you're the wrong person who just was wrong for all those men. See, it does this thing ideology that people have that the women is always right and the problem is always the man. When usually it's the other way around. Because if you look at the women that the men and women break up with, it don't be because of abuse or anything. They say, "Oh, I wasn't happy. Well, I just decided to move on." Men don't always be happy. He's not gonna break up his family, and it's not a man's job to make you happy. Make yourself happy. And nobody gonna sit around having you lee all day long happy. No, that's not an adult approach to things. Adults have relationships, have children, a duty, responsibility, and you raise those children, you take care of your responsibility. Not around here talking like somebody got to do something to keep you amused. I'm not responsible for no woman's happiness. I do the things I have to do. Happiness comes, the state of happiness comes, it goes. Same with love. Comes, it goes. You're gonna break up because you don't have those butterflies you used to have. It's time to break up. A lot of people say I'm wrong, but I always felt that love and marriage ain't. I wouldn't get married just because I love somebody. I married a person I didn't love who I felt was more compatible, like have a life with, just learn to love them. And if not, we can still have a good life. You around here, you've been getting married and getting with people out of love for all this time. How has it worked out for you? Not very well. You have to get married and get with people for more practical reasons, not emotional reasons. Because it's not going to work. People used to get married, they didn't even pick their own spouse. Their parents picked them. Because they knew they didn't know how to pick them. They'll all go after the same few men. And you do, you know why? 80% of the children born in the black community is being fathered by less than 20% of the men. Look it up. Those are statistics. Look it up. So you said, why do men cheat? You're all messing with the same few men. That's why they cheating. And then you're cheating on them. The majority of black men are single and childless, and he's not a homosexual. He just don't want to deal with you. You said men don't want to get married. Black men actually have a higher marriage rate than black women do. And you stay with the losers, the men you say are losers, the longest. The good guys, you get rid of him quick. Yo, he was so boring. I just was poor and I just wasn't having fun with him. You get all these little hang-ups. Who can deal with that? And you portray it to your children. That's why you doing that stuff. You was raised like that. Beat, yelled at, screamed at, and wasn't taught anything. If you did, your mother's supposed to teach you how to be a woman, how to be feminine. Feminine woman. She couldn't because she wasn't taught. Grandmama wasn't taught. And I can tell you how I know. I live stream funerals a lot. My company live streams funerals. If you can listen to them describe that old lady in that casket and the stuff they say about her, if that was a man, you know what they would say? Oh, he was an idiot. They talk like she talked to people in a kind of way. She did all type of mean things to people, but they boasted about it. But a man, they would have called him an idiot. Most of these grandmamas were idiots. Talk to people in a kind of way, treat people in a kind of way, and people thought that was something smart. And it's like black men just gave up feminism came. Women calling the police on them, man, control. Like the men just have given up. And feminism just taking over the black community and the Democratic Party. That's why it turned a lot of men off from. Anywhere feminism goes, men are put down. They talk about men and they promote homosexuality. That's what feminism does. But look, getting back to my subject. I said that because those women I was talking about, that's a product of the way these women are raising these children. They were raised that way, beat, bullied. And you see when that man was trying to tell them, they trying to straighten that out about that them jumping on that pregnant woman. You see where they came after him? And that's the average time you try to talk to a black woman about issues. She start fussing and arguing. I have had some come on my show when I had panels. Like they're gonna fuss and argue. You don't talk over people. Here. When people talking, you be quiet and listen. I'd have to tell them that. You're not gonna talk over anybody. And we talk facts here. We don't talk feelings. What you think and all that. Don't nobody give a damn what you think. That's your problem. You're trying to live off what you think instead of living off of proven policies and strategies. What type of strategies you have for raising your children? Smack them upside the head every time they say something you don't like. Not that it's wrong, you just don't like it. Because they're on their phone, you told them to do something, and they didn't jump right up and do it, which kids do that. Sometimes you have to tell them something 2 or 3 times. Yeah, most of the time you got to do that with adults. Should a man do that to you when he done told you about something and you keep messing up? Should he assault you like you do your children? You notice in all those videos, they talk about how men should have done this and done that and stopped this and that. But they say no one should stop someone from beating their child. That the child needs it. And they think it's a good thing. When the woman, you saw the video where they said the woman unalived the child. her own 6-year-old daughter. And people wanted her to get away with it. They think women have a responsibility to beat these kids, but let a man do it. You want to see him thrown under jail. And the way that woman was swinging that belt on that big boy, that wasn't no whipping, that was a beating. That, you saw that big old belt? Ain't no way my mom or anybody else would have whooped me with that. I'd have to restrain mama or something. But she wouldn't have whooped me with that belt as big as he was, because he was too old for that. By that age, he should have been taught and learned. But you wouldn't even have to whip him. If you got a 15, 16-year-old, you still got to whip. You's a failed parent. If you still got to whip them at that age, you are a failed parent. Because they should be able to understand at that age. And they shouldn't have to be getting no whippings at 15 and 16 years old if you taught them correctly. They should have good reasoning at that age and know why they shouldn't do certain things. So I'm telling you right now, if you got a 15, even a 14, 15-year-old, you still got to whip and beat them, you failed as a parent. Because they should know better by then and should be able to reason things out on what they should or shouldn't do by then. I know how people get a babysitter for 14, 15-year-old. I remember when I was coming up, when you was 10 years old, you were the babysitter. You had people babysitting at 10. And knew what they were doing. Now you can't leave a 14, 15-year-old at home alone, because they're going to mess up. Do stuff they shouldn't do. They weren't trained. They were beat. And they got to have someone around beating them to keep them in line, or they're going to mess up. I'm going to play this other video with my headset. I'm going to play this other video because we got a messed up. Let's face it, we got a messed up society. Now I don't see it getting any better anytime soon. It's going to take 2 or 3 generations because you've already started on these kids already. And that's if we start now. And we're going to take 2 or 3 generations. And we haven't started.
Obviously, we're fucking here.
Stop cursing.
No.
Because you will get arrested for disorderly conduct.
I don't give a fuck.
If that's not your child, then get the hell out of here.
No, bitch, I drove him here. What the fuck?
You're gonna get arrested.
Police were called to a Walmart in Piscataway, New Jersey, after a 2-year-old child was found wandering alone in the parking lot. After an officer brings the child inside, the mother storms in, snatches him, and gives police an incredibly entitled attitude when questioned, a move that quickly gets her arrested.
Whoa. Ma'am. Ma'am. Miss. Not for her. You okay, ma'am?
Everything's fine.
Okay.
What you still calling me for?
Well, because we got a call of a juvenile that's, walking around the lot.
Because we're paying for food, so we have a lot going on. You can see that, right?
Okay.
Thank you. We're good.
Ma'am, can I get your information, please? We just gotta document this. Yes, sir.
You better get out of here.
She advised the mom's being Just confirming no problem now? The mom is uncooperative.
First of all, it's not even my kid, so we need to mind your business. He walked away, we're paying for food. You need to mind your business. You don't need to make a scene, you don't need to do nothing. You need to walk away. I got my kid, you need to walk away now. That's it. There's no fact about it. The fact is you need to walk away.
Yeah, but
there's nothing else about it. There's nothing else about it.
Somebody called the cops.
Nothing. Because the kid was standing up there, right? Okay then. We didn't call him, so we didn't need you. I didn't ask for you, so you can go ahead now. I'm not going to cooperate because I have a right to. I don't need to. Go ahead.
Right.
Okay.
So I called because I didn't know.
Okay, so you called him. So talk to him. He called. You guys don't call. No, I'm not the parent. So that's what you need to mind your business.
But
Go
listen,
ahead. All right, go
listen.
ahead. You brought him inside, so go the fuck ahead. Don't get smacked. Get the fuck out of my face, bro.
Man,
I said not our kid, so therefore I don't care. We're done talking.
I get that.
We're
It's not
done.
your kid.
We're finished.
But
We're finished.
in charge of the kid.
See how entitled she act? I had to cut that because that's about 19 minutes long. See how entitled she act? You know, all she had to do was say, "Oh, I'm sorry, he got away from me," or something like that. No. Oh, I'm sorry, he no, I was busy. I didn't see him get away. 2-year-old walking out on the lot by himself. They could have done more. They was trying to cooperate with her, but she was uncooperative. And tell the truth, most of you know women like that because the majority of them. You can't tell them nothing. And if they caught in wrongdoing, they're gonna try to like you the one wrong for saying or doing something about it. Could you imagine what kind of child she would if she's raising that child by herself? What kind of child that would grow up that child would grow up to be? Probably like her. And just like her. Unless the father take them. They still, you never heard black women quoting the statistics where black fathers are the best fathers in the United States. And this is not black man statistics. This is from the CDC, white folks statistics. And for white people to say something like that about a black man, you know it's got to be true. They usually don't want to say anything good about us. But just watch these black fathers when you see them in the store with these children. And when you see them engaging with their children. Watch the difference from the man to the woman. You don't see them cursing those kids. I'm not talking about no one idiot you may have seen. I'm talking about the whole picture. When you look at the consensus of the majority of black men, you don't see them in the stores cursing their kids. Matter of fact, they're very attentive to them. You don't see the kid walking all off by themselves when they're with the father. If the kid does something, he instructs them. It's a small child. Pick up something, he just take it to him. No, don't mess with that. The woman would just about curse the kid out. Even hit the kid. I've seen it. I told you before, woman, kid picking up a can, little infant. Hitting him on the head. Now do it again. Kid, do it again. Now do it again. Hit him again. Do him again. Do it again. Not knowing this little infant, he thinks you're saying do it again. But he's doing it again. But you know what? Like I said, people want you to stop people from hitting a woman, but they think it's spectacular when you hit a kid. You saw the videos, how the people proved of a child getting beat, but they always talking about why come somebody didn't stop it when somebody hit a woman who probably needed a butt whoop. So you all got it twisted. I'm gonna just listen to this other video of this man. See, the man makes some sense when the women don't. They think it's okay. Women think it's okay, the man don't.
Go, okay, you ready? I'ma keep not showing up to none of your events. I'ma keep not supporting you. I'ma keep not being a mother to you that you say that I am, since I'm such the bad guy. Okay? Yep. Whatever you say from now on that I'm doing, that you keep lying and accusing me of, guess what it is? I'm a bad parent. Yep. I don't show up for none of your gangs. I don't support you. Yep. I don't love you, and I keep you away from your father. Yep. So I'm gonna keep doing that, okay? Yep. Okay.
They never admit to anything they do wrong. They'll call out the list of what they do wrong, but they're going to try to like as though it's okay. They're never wrong. They never take accountability. And it's always, you notice in every video, it was the man's fault. They had to throw him in there some kind of way. If those kids are misbehaving, that's because of the parent that they're living with. It's just like when those kids jumped on that pregnant woman. That's the responsibility of the parent that they're living with. They try to holler about the fathers then. Well, let him go stay with the fathers, and then he can take responsibility. A lot of them want the kid to go stay with the father when they grow up and get bad and you can't hold their hand. I'm going to send you go stay with your father because you done messed them up. Or when they get old and you can't get no money for them no more. So a lot of you women hustle children. You was able to get that money for them. You can no longer get that longer, get that money for them. You ready for them to go. That's why you want them out the house at 18. I'm not saying all of you, but some of you did that. You want them out the house at 18 because you can't get nothing for them anymore. Not fooling me. Yeah. Now we got this last video. What's that at? Would you listen to this man here?
Peace to the tribe. While y'all are generalizing and stereotyping black men, don't forget to add that black men are the best fathers in America, and that's according to the CDC. Back in 2013, the CDC found that black fathers who live with their children were more likely than white or Hispanic fathers to bathe, change, or dress their children every day, more likely to eat meals with their children every day, and more likely to help their children with their homework every day. 1 minute we're absent fathers, the next day we're overly aggressive with black women. So while y'all are generalizing and stereotyping all black men, don't forget to add that we're the best fathers. The best fathers in America are black men. We come from black mothers, we have daughters, nieces, grandmothers, and aunties. We know how to behave. And it's like every single lie that y'all have on black men can be debunked with truth and data. And when y'all are generalizing all black men and stereotyping all black men, don't forget to add that black men are the best fathers in America.
And you know what? Not only the ones who live with their children, I also said the ones who don't live with their children, but when their children are with them. Just be around a man when he's with his children. Watch a black man when he's with his children. The rapport that he has with them. And many times the ones that don't live with him, the mother has poisoned them against him. And that they act a little skeptical of him because of all the stuff she said. Men rarely teach their children against their mother. She can be lousy. He can just about hate her, but he don't teach his children against her. But the woman will get around the children and say all kinds of things about their father in their face so they can hear it. And then the child can see, I can see why my dad is not with you. They may not say it. Look at all the women you saw. What man would want to be with them on these videos? What man would want to be with them? The man should have known on the first video. The man should have known when he laid down with her that she would beat the children. Now, how he supposed to know that? Anything not to take responsibility on your own. Anything not to take responsibility. But you never hear black women quoting that about black men being the best father. Because you went and had a baby by a gangbanger, that's your problem. And many of them make some good fathers sometimes when they dealing with their children. They're not gangbanging with their children. Many of them do pretty good when they're with their children. Nobody walked off and left you. There wasn't family in the first place. You just lay down and had babies. Sometimes by married men, a man you know was already with a woman. You know I'm telling the truth. Now let me show you this one now. Where is that? This other man I showed him already. Showed him. Oh, here you go right
Bro,
there.
you know what's not talked about enough? How parents used to beat our ass growing up. Like, see, that's why these generational kids act the way they act. They ain't have a 09, 08, 07, 06, 05 ass whooping, bro. Around that time, the ass whoopings was lethal, bro. I remember one of my cousins told me, because he was like a teacher at the time, he told me one of the kids called him a B word. I'm like, what the fuck? I ain't even gonna lie. I think my mama went on a generational run with that fucking belt and stencher cord. Hell yeah, nigga, I got a whoop with a stencher cord, a broom, a brush, nigga, a wooden fucking stick, nigga. Then people gonna come on here and be like, that's child abuse. Nah, hell nah, that's the black household in general. Mamas just pick up anything and hit you. Like, they'll literally pick up any fucking thing and give your ass the worst ass whooping you ever expected. And look, this the fucking shocker now. Bro, you try to bring this shit up to them now? Bro, they do not fucking remember shit. It's like I'm in another fucking time loop or some shit. Multiverse or some shit. Hey, you remember that time you with me with that stitcher cord and that fucking wooden stick? I ain't do nothing like that. Stop saying shit like that. What the fuck is you talking about? Man, you used to beat my ass. And the crazy part about it is, your new siblings that came around, they never get to see that version of your older parents, bro. What I mean is they never get to see the version that you got to see. Matter of fact, they don't even get the whoopings you get. Like, they get some small shit. Matter of fact, they don't even get whoopings. They get their device taken. They get their devices taken. That's what they get nowadays.
You notice he didn't say father, he said mother. The older women, not the men. People used to think it was men abusing those children. No, it wasn't. Women abusing those children. Now, when it comes to white people, many times it's the man who abuse the children. With black people, it's most of the women who abuse the children. And he said that the person called the teacher the B word. How many did that? There's gonna always be some bad children, even those who got beat. And I bet you that kid that called the teacher the B word, that child may be getting beat instead of taught. You think he called that child? He didn't say if it was a boy or girl who called the teacher a B word. They did it because they weren't getting beat. They may have done it because they were getting beat. They were getting beat and not being taught. Beating is not teaching. Beating, that's discipline. Discipline should be the last resort. And there's gonna be some bad kids regardless of, beating or not. There's always gonna be some bad kids. When I was coming up, you always had this one bad kid in the room. Now, they all are because they're not being taught. You're not coming from no beating. You learn because you was beat. That's stupid. And see, many of the mothers, and it's the mother's fault. You don't get angry if you want to. It's the mother's fault. You complain about the very men that you raised. When you beat people, they can bully people, they get emotional. They grow up emotional. People who are physically abused have become emotional and have psychological problems. Look at the average black person you see today. Something's wrong with them. You can't talk to them for more than 2 minutes without it turning into an argument. That's why I don't talk to people I don't know very long. Sometimes people you know. You can't talk to people too long or they're going to try to argue with you. You can't get two black people to agree on anything. weren't raised properly. You were beat, not taught. Either you got to think, if you don't think my way, we just shut it down. You got to do what I say. And each one of both of them thinking that way. So how you going to get any progress when both of you just bullheaded like that, just stubborn like that? Black children, the majority of them, are not being raised. The majority of black children are being beaten and bullied up, not raised up. Some may turn out good anyway, but that's not the majority. That's the exception, not the rule. You think you're doing something smart, keeping men and children away from their father, because you mad at them. And it comes back to haunt you. Most black women don't even know how to comb your daughter's hair. You pull it all out their head. You know they say men make women hair grow. When a man comb his daughter's hair, you don't whack at it like that, like I see the women doing. Then when she get done, she pull it most of the hair out the comb. Y'all can't even do that right. Men take time, comb her hair right, slowly. And that's why her hair grows when her father combs it. And see, I know the black women who looking at this, they're upset about it, like, 'cause you think anybody bashing you who not calling you queens and all this. You're not no queen. You can't be a queen without a king. Everybody come here, hey, king, give me king, so that I ain't no king. I don't need those grandiose names put on me to feel good about myself. I don't need that type of rate. I'm not no king. King of what? I'm a man. I'm not no king. If we all kings and queens, what are we the kings and queens of? You don't have no subjects because everybody's kings and queens. Cut that foolishness out. At least with men, you can do it if you want to, but I'm not no king. I don't need nobody calling me something like that. But see, with these children, I just don't see any hope. In most situations with black people, I don't see any hope for us. It can happen, but I just don't see it. Anything short of divine intervention. Because our next generation of poorly brought up children has already started. The next 2 or 3 generations has already started. And that's if we straighten up now. We haven't. So look for many more generations of effed up people to come along. I know it don't sound good, but I'm not here to make it sound good. I'm here to tell the truth. And I'm talking from facts. I'm not talking from no feelings. You can beat these kids, bully them up, and it's still going on. And like I say, if you guys still beat and whip your children at 14 and 15 years old, even 12, you failed as a parent. They should be able to they should have been taught and able to rationalize what they should and shouldn't do by now. They're going to still need some instruction, but beating is not instruction. I don't know what make people think beating is instruction. Now that's come from a lazy parent. Parents who's too lazy to actually raise their children and just want to beat them all the time. And thinking that's teaching them something. You haven't said nothing, just beat them. And then when they get away from you, they sneak and do everything they can think of. If another adult who supervision you put them under, like a teacher or something, they coach or something, they try to tell them something, you want to go up there and curse them out. What makes you all think cursing people out is solving something? That's where you go. But God, that's how you raised your children. And that's how you were raised. Person do something you don't like, curse them out. Not because it was wrong, you just don't like it. If you don't want nobody saying anything to your children, keep them at home. Homeschool them. You when your children call, you say the teacher yelled at me, you wouldn't go up there and jump on the teacher. You would call somebody to come get you out of jail, I wouldn't come get you out of nowhere. Every little thing, fight. Gotta fight over it. Gotta fight. That's where you were raised. Through physical violence. And anyone who does something you don't like, you have to put physical violence on them. And your sons are doing it too because that's the way they were raised. Many of them let women talk to them any kind of way because their mother talked to them any kind of way. Most of the women they were around talked to them any kind of way. So they grow up. And the woman they with say all type of mean things to them and they shrug it off like it's nothing. You're talking to her nice, but she's talking to him any kind of way. I see it all the time. Look at the average black man and black woman you see together. Look at her body language and look at his. Oh, we're masculine, like we act like men. We had to do this and do that on our own. Other women raise kids and do stuff on their own. They're still feminine. You're like that because you're crazy. You want to be men. To my own, black men, they just not masculine enough for us. No, most women say he's the most masculine man. What the problem is, you're not feminine enough for him. Because everything is, with women, how everything is always everybody else's fault. It's never your fault. It was because it's the man this. What's because the man that. I'm talking about y'all tonight because I'm a man. I got to tell you from a male point of view. You can hear all day long women talking about men. You can hear that all day long. They've been doing that 50, 60 years. All the talk shows, women, and on social media all day long. Women, black women, tearing black men apart. As soon as he says something about them, oh, he bashing women. He hate his mom. All that old stuff. You must hate your daddy. And see, the thing is, but you know one thing I noticed? Black women never criticize and never speak against white men or men of other races. You save all that for black men. The only way you say something about them is when them do something. You talk about what he did, but you don't talk about white men. You'll put a picture of him up and say, some old plain looking white man. He's so cute, he's so fine. I always had a crush on him. And they can't stand y'all. They ask black men, they ask you, say, how y'all put up with that? Talking about black women. You walk into a place, all big and loud, and think that's attractive. And lose some weight. Y'all weigh more than men. Put up these big old cheerleaders at the game was upset on fire the announcer because he said something about it. Well, it wasn't his place to say that though. He should have announced the game instead of giving his opinion about those cheerleaders. But who want to go to a football game and see cheerleaders who weigh more than the linebackers? I don't. Everyone needs to know how to stay in their lane. Cheerleading is for the pretty fine girls. You know how to stay in your lane. But when you removed our standards, you would do things like that. And the way these kids are raised now, they're not raised with any kind of standards, any kind of morals, no type of ethics. Just do what I say or you get knocked upside the head. Men, if you can, please go get your children. These women don't know what they're doing with these children. Go get your children if you can. There's some that do, but the majority don't. Go get them if you can, because they're going to ruin your children. They've already ruined the next 2 to 3 generations to come. But let's try to stop it here, because I don't see it getting any better anytime soon. It's going to take generations to straighten it out, and more than you think, because it's still going on. The remedy hasn't started. So all I can say is just right now deal with like-minded people, the people who are not like that. There are some children who are being brought up properly. We'd have to deal with them. And we have to quit thinking we got to deal with all the riffraffs of our society. We all got to unify. I'm not unified with no gangbangers and riffraffs. You all can do it. Let them unify with their kind. People who are trying to do some progressive thing, give them more progressive people. And form a group and get together. And form some ethics. That's how ethnicity is brought about. We don't have any ethnicity. That's black people's biggest problem. If you did, in those ethics would be a way on how to raise your children, a way on how to get married, a way on how to deal with each other. We don't have none of that. And I don't see us getting it anytime soon. So expect more generations of problems. I'm not going to try to make it sound good when it's not. We're going to have more generations of effed up kids and adults. If not, and that's if we stop what's going on now. But like I said, the only remedy right now is to deal with people who not effed up and who were raised properly and who do not conduct themselves properly. Deal with them and let's grow that. Those others, leave them by the wayside. Everybody's not going to make it to the promised land. Leave them out. I'm going to, on tomorrow night, for those who are in the local area, the people from all around, we're going to do a East St. Louis Flyers girls basketball game live. People don't cover the girls much, so I want to give them a little coverage. Coverage is going to be live. And tomorrow, I'm going to have my cash app up. I need that for the games. Now, this show supports itself, but in other shows I do for other people, support itself. But each one has to support itself. In the games, I have to put cash app for the games. I need support for those games. I won't be able to do them because the sports program has to support itself. I don't get any money from the district. I don't have a contract with them. They only deal with white folks. Certain people of theirs, they cut out the local businessman, the city, and everyone else does. Most entities in black areas do not hire people from the local community to do things. They go out and get these other people. I was down at Walgreens the other day. They had some Latinos tuck point in their building. They couldn't find a tuck point in East St. Louis to do it. Our local economy is ruined like that. I know I'm off into another subject, but what we're going to have to realize is that we're going to be some messed up people for a few more generations. If not a whole lot more, maybe if ever, because we haven't stopped. So that's why I find some good people, latch on to them and deal with them. And these kids been bullied and beaten up instead of raised up, keep your kids away from them and get them with some good kids like yours. Some of them have been, I know some single mothers who've done a good job, but the majority of them haven't. It's not a pretty message tonight, but this is a true message. And I know what I'm talking about. Much of it has been from statistics, not from my personal feelings. You can get angry and say, oh, he bald head, he's this, he's that. But how is that helping your situation any? I had one woman said, that was talking about the fat cheerleaders. She was saying, she said the announcer said, talking about how he was old. And so I said, look, you're going to get older, die young. But I bet you more people would rather be his age than their size. So they think if they could throw something back at you, that excuses everything. I've had them say to me, oh, you old. So I say, well, don't blame me because I didn't die young like you going to. Yeah, I say stuff like that to people. You talk mean to me, I'll throw some right back at you. When you go lower, I'll go lower. I'm just petty like that. Because look, you're gonna get old or die young. Make your choice. By you criticizing people who have gotten older, they're letting us know you prefer to die young. That's why I say that. Yeah, I even have a logic behind that. When I say young like you're going to. Evidently, they don't want to get old. They see something wrong with it. And a lot of these older people are healthier than you young people. Because most of you fat slobs eating all that processed food. 12 years old and a diabetic from eating all that processed food. Because your mama ate it. That's why she's 300 pounds. Your daddy ate it. And you know, that's what I'm saying, just saying to the women. You know, listen to people sometimes, stop getting angry. Oh, he disrespecting women. Yeah, you are the most disrespectful women in the world, so don't come with that. Black men are one of the most desired men in the world. Look at the polls, the statistics, and you know they're surprised. I'm not black men, but black American men. In the poll, they say black men and white men tied at number one. You know what? The white men are always in the top position because he's seen as running things. And people who seen as running things are always desired. But they said they were surprised that the black black Americans are even in the list because going by what folks say, he's supposed to be on the bottom. Usually the man who's on the bottom don't even make the list. And these were mostly other women who ranked black men at the top. So while you out here criticizing black men and ruining your children, you may have to move on. If you're not going to do right, have them some of these light-skinned children with the curly, sandy looking hair. If you're not going to straighten up and do right, I'm gonna play this one more time before I leave. Here's this black man. They're trying to get this straightened out with what happened with the woman getting jumped on at the school. No, not at the school. It was away from the school by a bunch of teenagers, and they filmed it. And then talking about why the men wasn't nobody around. Why come the women weren't there to stop? Why come you all never there to stop these women from beating on their children? Stand there and look at it and talk about they needed it. Watch this.
No, it's bigger than the school system. It's our community. I'm telling you, as black men,
schools control their kids. Public schools should be able to control their kids.
Sister, all I'm
They sit
saying
there and
is,
watch that lady
when
get
you
jumped
see a
on.
black man taking responsibility for the bullshit that's happening to our community, y'all gotta learn to stand down. Y'all gotta stop it. It's not a war between us. It's not a war. Let's go with that man. Hey, what you doing, sister? What you on?
It's the way you can. It's the way you can.
No, it ain't. No, it's not, sister. Yeah, everybody wrong. We dealing with them, but we here. We here. We here. They not here. We here with you. We here. We here. Who you fighting? Okay, then let me finish.
I'm fighting for what's right, my brother. I'm a true law man, and I'm going to tell you. I'm going to fight for what's right. Them straight watched that lady get jumped on and they didn't do nothing.
Because they know me. I'm done. I'm done. I'm good. Y'all deal with her. Y'all deal with her.
You see how masculine those big hyenas were? See, you know what women would say? These men be matching a woman's in it. No, you don't. No, you don't. You come to a man all masculine, and you be matching his energy. Well, of course, nothing's ever your fault. It's always him, not you. How is he matching your energy and you coming to him masculine? Now, if he was coming to you feminine, yeah, he would be matching you. But no, he wouldn't, because you're not feminine. But if he went to a feminine woman, if she came to him and he came back at her feminine, he would be matching her energy. But if you come to a man all masculine, you're matching his energy. But you never take responsibility for anything. Somebody, they watched that woman get beat. No, they didn't. You know what happened? That was away from the school, and the kids recorded that. But I tell you what, I do know what happened. A woman will watch another woman beating her kids half to death and say they needed it. Well, most black people, you talk about the kid needed it. Ooh, they laugh about it. They tearing them up. But if a person saw that pregnant woman getting jumped on, yeah, it should have been stopped. I'd have stopped that. Normally, I don't stop fights. But I would have intervened on that. I told you earlier, I walk right by these hyenas fighting and let them fight. But someone jumping on that pregnant woman, I'd been all up in that. Because when somebody just jumping on a woman, the average man would help. He would do something. But you women want to get out there and box, go ahead and box. You go want to hit a man and he hit you back, then everybody in town supposed to help. Because I saw a video where this woman kept hitting this man and he kept trying to get her to stop. And she wouldn't stop. These men were videoing. They were videoing. They were recording it. And then you could hear them laugh. Oh, she turned him up. Then he got tired. He finally hit the woman back. And you know those men came and jumped on that man? Somebody needed to jump on them. If women want a man to be traditional, they have to be traditional themselves. Traditional women don't go around hitting on men. If you hit me, you're getting hit back. And I have something for those men who want to come jump on me. I have something to make them jump back. Yeah, see, the thing is, those women there, can't you see why these women don't have a man? Could you see yourself with any of those women? Married to them? Live in the house with them? You'd have to knock her teeth out just to shut her up. Well, I'm not going to hold you long tonight. I know a lot of people didn't like this, but you don't have to like it. I didn't put up for you to like, oh, let me take my cash. That was for the game tomorrow to catch up PayPal. But yeah, you can contribute tonight if you want to, though. But look, I just say, cause we got a problem in our community. These kids are not being raised right, and we got generations. Look at the ones coming up, the ones in high school, the adults you see now raising the children. They don't know how to raise them, and the ones you see coming up, they haven't been raised right. So we got generations coming behind them. That's all messed up. Well, I don't know what to tell you. And it's not, and no one's straightening it up now. Like I said, get with people who are like-minded people, who are good like you, who are not involved in all that mess, know how to raise their children, got good people. You all get together and keep your children away from these messed up children as much as you can. I know when they're at school, you can't stop them from being around them, but don't let them come over be running around, running with them. Men are running, but people used to filter their children, who their children ran with. Now they let them run with anyone. Yeah, they had to filter those kids out, see who they was about. They had to find out who their parents was. Now they just let them run with anybody. Well, I'm gonna get out of here. I'll be presenting you with the girls' games, Fly Rich tomorrow. I'm gonna give them a little airplay on YouTube and Facebook. Be sure to hit the like button and subscribe and or hit the like button or share button on Facebook. So I'm gonna get out of here and thank you for tuning in. My name is Larry Duncan Allen. This has been No More Water. Bye next time. Thank you for tuning in. I'll see you next time.